She had a first-class ticket in her hand, but the gate agent's smirk said otherwise. Passengers watched in disbelief as a black woman was told she didn't belong in seat 2A, while others boarded freely. Every word of disrespect echoed louder, cameras lifted, tension crackled in the air. What the airline didn't know was that she wasn't just another passenger. With calm precision, she collected names, documented lies, and waited for the perfect moment. When her true identity was revealed, billions were on the line, and the fallout would rewrite history. The hum of rolling luggage echoed through gate C19 as travelers lined up for boarding. The overhead speakers called for first-class passengers, and among the group stood Alana Pierce. Her ticket was firm in her hand, seat 1A, first class. It wasn't indulgence. It was earned, booked weeks ago, confirmed, and double-checked. But the look on the gate agent's face when she stepped forward told her this wasn't going to be simple. "Excuse me," the agent said sharply, holding out a hand. "This line is for first class only." Alana raised an eyebrow. "It is. Here's my boarding pass." The agent, a woman with a forced smile and narrowed eyes, glanced at the ticket and then back at Alana. There must be some mistake. Economy boarding is that way. She gestured dismissively toward the growing crowd behind them. Alana didn't move. "No mistake. My ticket is first class, seat 1A. A few passengers shifted uncomfortably. A businessman behind her murmured, "She's clearly in the right line." But the agent didn't budge. "I'll need to reassign your seat," the agent declared flatly, tapping on her keyboard. "You've been moved to economy." Alana's voice stayed calm but firm. "On what grounds?" "Ma'am," the agent replied, her tone heavy with condescension. "I don't have to explain it. Please step aside." "You're holding up the line," gasps rippled through the area. A couple of phones lifted, their red recording lights flickering. Alana felt the eyes on her, the humiliation tightening around her throat, but she didn't flinch. "Then put it in writing," she said evenly. "Document your refusal under your name." The agent's face stiffened. "Excuse me?" "You heard me," Alana replied, her voice carrying clearly across the gate area. "Document this, sign it, and be prepared to explain why a confirmed first-class ticket is suddenly invalid, while passengers who look different than me are waved through without issue." The murmurs grew louder. A man whispered, "She's right." A young woman angled her phone higher to catch the agent's expression. The agent flushed, flustered. "If you continue to disrupt, I'll have to call security." "Do it," Alana said, her tone unshaken. "But they'll need to explain why you denied me entry with a confirmed seat." The gate agent stiffened, then gestured to her supervisor, a tall man in a navy vest. He arrived quickly, carrying the authority of someone used to ending disputes with intimidation. "What seems to be the issue?" he asked loudly, so the entire boarding area could hear. "She's trying to board without authorization," the agent replied quickly. Alana turned to him, holding her boarding pass like evidence in a trial. "I have a first-class ticket, seat 1A. She reassigned me without reason. I've asked her to document the refusal under her name." The supervisor smirked, as though the request itself were absurd. "Ma'am, we can deny boarding at our discretion. That's airline policy." "Policy doesn't trump the law," Alana said, sharp as glass. By now, nearly everyone in the gate area was watching. Dozens of cameras hovered, capturing every word. The supervisor leaned closer, lowering his voice though the microphones of cell phones caught every syllable. "If you don't comply, I'll have security escort you out." Alana's reply was quiet, but carried like thunder. "Then you'll be documenting that as well." The tension snapped like a live wire. People whispered, shifting, recording. One teenager whispered, "She's not backing down." The supervisor hesitated, scanning the crowd. Every eye was on him. Every camera was aimed his way. His confidence faltered. He cleared his throat. "Last chance. Step aside." Alana slowly reached into her bag. Phones zoomed in, the crowd holding its breath. She pulled out a small leather wallet, flipped it open, and held it high. The air froze. Alana Pierce, Federal Aviation Auditor. Her voice cut through the silence like a blade. The supervisor blinked, his jaw slack. The agent stumbled back a step, A collective gasp swept through the terminal as passengers surged forward with their cameras, capturing the moment. "You've denied a federal officer with a confirmed first-class ticket," Alana said coldly. "You've refused documentation. You've attempted to intimidate me, and you've done it all on record," the gate agent stammered. I didn't know." "That's the problem," Alana interrupted, her tone like steel. "You thought you could decide who belongs in first class and who doesn't. But tonight, your choices will cost this airline billions." The supervisor tried to recover. "This can be resolved privately." "No," Alana cut in, her voice rising with righteous fury. "It will be resolved publicly. Every phone in this terminal has already ensured that." The gate area erupted in murmurs. Someone shouted, "She's a hero!" Others cheered, clapping, their applause spreading like wildfire through the waiting crowd. Alana's phone buzzed in her pocket. She didn't even need to look. The video was already live, streaming across social platforms. Within minutes, hashtags began climbing. Seat 1A, respect costs nothing, audit in the air. By the time she finally boarded, escorted not by security, but by a pale-faced airline manager begging forgiveness, the story had already left the terminal. On the ground, boardrooms erupted. News anchors replayed the video, their voices sharp with condemnation. "An airline under fire tonight," one reported, caught denying first-class boarding to a Federal Aviation Auditor. By dawn, the airline's $3.9 billion merger collapsed. Stock prices plunged. Executives scrambled, issuing hollow apologies that rang false compared to Alana's calm, devastating words. And it didn't stop there. Congress summoned hearings. New regulations were drafted, the Pierce Protocol, forcing airlines to document every seat reassignment, every denial, every name tied to each decision. What began at Gate C-19 became federal law within weeks. Alana didn't revel in the chaos. She wasn't interested in revenge. She had stood her ground not to humiliate, but to demand respect. When reporters asked her why she hadn't shouted, why she hadn't lashed out, she answered simply, "Because dignity speaks louder than anger." Her words echoed across headlines, classrooms, and workplaces. Airline executives resigned, employees were fired, and travelers everywhere repeated her line until it became a mantra. Respect doesn't cost a dime. Months later, Alana walked onto a stage in Washington. The hall was filled with lawmakers, workers, and ordinary citizens who had followed her story. Cameras flashed. The crowd rose in applause. She looked out across the room, remembering the smirk of a gate agent who thought she could decide who belonged. And then she spoke. This was never just about one seat. It was about every seat, every shift, every moment when someone's dignity was questioned. Respect is not optional. And now it's the law, the applause thundered. Her calm defiance had become history. And somewhere in the ashes of the airline's collapse, those who once smirked and sneered understood the truth far too late. Power built on arrogance always falls, because dignity cannot be denied. If you believe respect can't be bought, prove it. Like this video, share it everywhere, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from and what moment hit you deepest. Subscribe today and turn on notifications so you never miss stories that expose arrogance and celebrate unstoppable dignity.